Hi everyone, this is Makai Costin with the Athlete section. Today we have a special guest who plays football and runs track for Brookwood High School. She's committed to play at Andrew College in Georgia, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Caitlyn.
She is a senior at Brookwood and the second female kicker at the school. She's also the first female player to win Gwinnett County Specialist, that's amazing, of the year. And we talked a few years ago when I was reporting for Georgia High School Football Daily, and that was when she was earlier in her career at the school, and we kind of talked about her inspiration and just like what drove her to football and her team and everything. And yeah, we're going to get into that and her season in general because now she's on her way out. You're actually the second high schooler that we have on here. So everybody else has either been college students or college alumni. And we had one other high schooler who's going to be running track in college. And now you're my second high schooler. So I'm excited.
Me too.
Let's talk a little bit first about the beginning of football for you. At 10 years old, you kicked your first ball at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, but you also played soccer. So tell me a little bit about your family, your upbringing, and what the sport means to you, how you got into it.
So, definitely growing up, my family was very sports heavy. I started playing soccer when I was 3. My sister also started sports at a young age. So, we definitely were already kind of like athletes growing up. Football was always on TV. So, I grew up watching that throughout the years. And I think with the soccer background, the kicking just kind of came a little naturally. So when I did kick my very first field goal at the College Football Hall of Fame, it was definitely a very exciting moment for me and something I never forgot, which was part of the reason why I decided to play.
Wow. Do you have a few, or did you have at that time some kickers that you looked up to, and did that list change as you got older?
Jason Elam is an alum from Brookwood and ended up in the Hall of Fame as a kicker, which I thought was really cool and impressive. Also, Younghoe Koo for the Atlanta Falcons. I was actually able to meet him, so as I got older, he was definitely someone I looked up to more.
Yeah. Wow, that's really neat. We're definitely gonna get into that when you got the Atlanta Falcons invite because I want to talk about that and get your experience. So we're gonna touch on that in a minute as well. Out of all three sports, because you did soccer, you play football, you run track, that's amazing. That's having a nice dual sport, multifaceted mindset when it comes to sports is I always think it's really amazing when athletes are able to do that and focus on multiple sports. Do you have a favorite out of all three?
Definitely football, which is probably surprising, but the more I played it, honestly, the passion for the sport just grew,
Mm.
and the environment really just kind of grew my love for the sport.
Yeah, that's always special. That's always nice when it's you have that right team and that right just environment and experiences to kind of grow that love for the sport even more, forces you to work harder and enjoy it a lot more. Did you ever find that it was hard to focus on one sport after playing different ones? I know they're all different seasons because you play club soccer, um, aside from like football, and then I guess now you're in track season. Did you ever find it difficult to focus on one at all?
Track is definitely just kind of like by itself, so it's pretty easy to focus on that one. I think the conflict came more with football and soccer because they definitely were clashing with each other, especially being in the same season and having the same training throughout the summer. So I definitely had to learn how to like adapt and be able to switch from back and forth because I'd find myself often leaving straight from football practice to go to soccer
Oh my
practice or vice
gosh.
versa. And being able to kind of switch back and forth was something I had to learn how to do.
That's a lot. That's that sounds so tiring, but dedicated. Like it sounds like you were so serious about it. Wow. Did you? How long were you doing that? Like switching between both, like having to leave one practice and then going to the next. Was that like a yearly thing, or was that just maybe for like a few seasons and then you figured it out?
That was all 4 years of high school.
Oh my
So
gosh.
every fall, I would have to switch back and forth between the two. But honestly, looking back, it was definitely all worth it.
That shows you have really great time management and dedication for the sport. So that's kudos to you. That's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
What made you get into track? You run the 1 and the 200 meter, right?
Yes, and I also recently, this season started long jumping.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I think it was when I decided not to play high school soccer anymore. I
Mhm.
knew I didn't want to sit around and do nothing, so I figured track would be a good option, because I'd be able to stay in shape and honestly benefit from it because we lift and then I can build up my endurance with it as well. So, but when I played it or when I ran it for the first season, I just really, really enjoyed it, so I knew I wanted to stick with it.
Okay, nice. When was your first season? Was it last year or a few years before?
It was last year was my first season.
Okay, nice. My whole family are all track heads. They love track and field. I did every sport but track and field, but all my little siblings are all in track and field. My brother's in college for track and field now. So it's like that I'm surrounded by it a lot. So I always find it intriguing when other athletes are doing their sport and track and field. I'm like, oh, let me touch on that. So Andrew College, that's really amazing. Congratulations on committing there. Tell me a little bit about what made you choose Andrew College, your experience throughout that journey, and all your game day visits.
So, Andrew College, the offer came partway through our season or my senior season. And I hadn't gone down to visit, but the coach came up and visited us. And he actually did a home visit with us. So my family was able to meet him. And he was just a really amazing person. And so eventually, when I did go down and visit the campus, it was great knowing that they're going to give me the opportunity to continue playing football. And really, just the environment and the people I know I'll be surrounded by when I go down there is really what kind of motivated me to choose that school.
Okay, nice. That's really exciting. What are you planning to study when you get down there?
I'm definitely going to study biology because I'm really intrigued with sports medicine. So I figured that would give me a good base just in case I decide to change. But I know biology will give me a good structure for that.
Yeah, agree. It's like a nice foundation to kind of have, I guess, a step to that field. So, like you said, if you wanted to change it, it's like, well, at least I already
Hmm.
have this, basic structure and foundation to go ahead and move over. But that's exciting. Wow. What are you most looking forward to besides football? But just, I guess, the campus life and being in college in general. What is the most exciting thing you're looking forward to post high school?
I think the freedom, being able to go out and learn how to do things on my own, I think it really helps build character. And finally, being on my own to learn all the skills I need to be able to live on my own, I think that's probably one of the things I'm looking most forward to.
Yeah, that is really fun. It is like even I graduated college last year. It doesn't feel like it was just almost a year ago, but that time flew and I honestly miss it. I love college so much and enjoy the people I've met there and the campus life. So you're going to have an amazing time, especially as a student athlete.
Yes.
What did your game day visits consist of after you got down there, got the offer to go down there in general? I guess, well, for Andrew College, but also your all your other visits, were they all pretty similar or what was your schedule like for that?
I never went on a game day visit for Andrew College, but some of the other colleges I did go for game days were all pretty similar. We met the coaches, kind of got a tour of the facilities and an introduction to what their program is, and then we stuck around to watch the game.
Oh, nice. That's really fun. I know he was really excited, feeling like, okay, this could be me. I could be out there. They could be out here watching me the next person.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Wow. I'm gonna definitely make sure I keep up with you and your games in Andrew College because I know you're gonna do really big things out there.
Thank you, and I'll make sure to keep you updated too.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad we kept each other's contact. I was like, once I decided to start this podcast, I was like, who all should I contact first? And you was definitely on the list. I was like, I just remember talking to her and I enjoyed her story and I want to follow up. So I'm glad I was able to make this happen.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on here. Let's talk a little bit about the Falcons honorary captain invite you got when they played against the Commodores. How was all that initiated? And then tell me about your whole experience.
So it was actually my head coach came up to me one day and was like, I have a really cool opportunity for you. And so he kind of told me a little bit of the details, and then eventually they reached out to me, and I had more of a direct contact with them. And it was the day after our homecoming. So I went
Wow.
straight home from homecoming, woke up the next day, and got ready to go to the game. And honestly, it was a surreal experience just being able to go down on the field, watch the warm up, meet Youngwei Koo. It was really amazing. And the only kind of weird thing was just having the camera right up in my face when I was on the big screen. So that was a little, uncomfortable. But other than that, they gave my family a sweet little goodie bags. They gave me a jersey with my name on the back, and it was really just, they were so welcoming to us.
That's amazing. I remember, I don't know, I think I forgot to reach back out to you to say congratulations, but my editor was following up with me after we published the article on you. And he was like, "Oh, also, she's got invited to the Atlanta Falcons game." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, like she's out there now." I was like, "Wow, that's exciting." But yeah, that's wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you got to experience that. Have your own customized jersey. Your film was able to partake in it and enjoy it. Wow. That's really great. Once like the camera was in your face, did you have to pretend not to see it, or did you have to wave and then like look around, or like how did you fare with that?
I They told me I could do whatever I want. They said most people wave into the camera, so I literally just looked dead in the camera, waved, I kind of turned around and waved to the stands, and then looked back at the camera and literally just stared into it and just kind of waved, showed the jersey a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. Wow. I wouldn't know what to do. You was in a 2024 Coles National Scholarship Camp. Tell me a little bit about that experience, speaking of awards and experiences.
Getting the invite to that was definitely an accomplishment. I think I was one of two or three females at all invited to it, out of the entire nation. And there were so many other kickers there that I was able to watch and not only learn from, but also meet and make more connections. I actually made one of my really good friends there while I was there, so I'm still in contact with him. And I think just being able to relate to each other, kicker to kicker, that was a really great place to connect with everyone and better my craft.
I like that once you chose the sport, it started just opening doors for you like that. Like the scholarship invite and then the Atlanta Falcons invite. It's just starting and now you're playing in college. I just feel like, you're going on this path and it's just opening doors as you continue to stay faithful and dedicated to your craft. So that's really a great blessing to have.
It really is. I'm so glad that all these opportunities have presented themselves.
What is your favorite opportunity out of all of there's probably even more that I don't even know about, but what is your favorite opportunity out of all of them and why?
It probably was the Falcons, just because after such a big game I had had, it really was exciting to be able to go and do something like that, and not many people can say they've had an experience like that. And I'm just really grateful for how kind and welcoming they were to me and my family.
Yeah, that definitely is a once in a lifetime, just great opportunity to have. I'm really happy that you're able to experience that. So you mentioned that your whole family was a family of athletes. Where are you in your sibling lineup, and what sports did all of them play?
I have one younger sister. She is a freshman right now. And we both actually started out playing soccer. We learned very quickly for her that wasn't going to be her sport. Um, so I continued with it. She did not. She actually switched over to softball and then now she plays ice hockey.
Oh,
So I think we've both lined up to where we definitely currently are in fields not really dominated by women. She has found an all girls team to play for though, which is really great for her. But we've both definitely experienced lots of sports and diversity and just having to adapt to, different experiences with that. And being able to say we've played so many sports, I think we connect on that.
And I know she definitely looks up to you and is proud of you. And I bet you're definitely like one of her main inspirations when it comes to that too, because you're definitely paving the way for her. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
So you mentioned having to adjust to male dominated sports and just kind of making y'all's way in those fields. Earlier, when you first started playing, you would have to change in a lunge room and suit up for game day. And then finally, you got your own locker room. So tell me a little bit about the adjustments you had to make and how it started changing along the years of you playing.
I think the more I proved myself and proved that I really did want to stick with it, and got kind of more attention to the fact that I really was working my hardest to prove that I can keep up with everyone. That's when changes started being made. I got my own locker, and that wasn't really ever an issue for me. It was like changing because obviously I knew I wasn't going to be changing in the locker room with the boys,
Right.
so having my own place was nice just to begin with. And really, I think it was just the fact that as I kept getting older, I kept improving. Um, so there was more attention on me, more opportunities started presenting themselves, and really just being able to show that I could excel at it because being a female biologically, I'm just not going to be as strong as the males are. But showing that I am willing to work for it and willing to try my best to be close to the best, then I think that's really when the changes start being made.
I like that where you said you had to prove yourself, but then they started seeing, like, okay, she's really doing extremely well. But then there's also that, that there are some differences, between male and female. So there's not going to be exactly the same, but they were still able to accommodate you and just be one of the players on the team. It wasn't like she's just a girl. It was like, no, we're all in this together. So that's really great. How did you start?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you start, I guess, bonding with your teammates? Was it hard to find your way on the team or find your way, I guess, communicating with the guys a little bit more? Or was it kind of a simple process when it came to you just starting out?
It really, before I started playing football, I was really kind of a shy person. So I think my freshman year when I started, that really helped me open up more. So I was able to become close to kind of the guys in my grade on my team really easily, and we all kind of grew up together on the team.
Hmm.
And then with everyone else, it was pretty easy to talk to them. I think they didn't really think of me as, oh, there's just a girl with us, but they thought me as one of their teammates. So we were able to kind of just bond over that fact.
That's always important when it comes to just being on a team. That can make a big difference in your experience having a good coach and then also having a good bonding system with your teammates. That can make or break your decision to stay with the sport sometimes or even just to stay with the team in general. So that's really great that they made it easier for you to just be one of them and enjoy each other's company, but also still work hard and play the game that y'all all love. So you also do a lot of community involvement and just campus involvement in general. Let's talk about all of the organizations you're a part of and why you decided to choose those.
So I am in Beta Club, which has a lot of volunteer hours associated with it. So I have helped with things like the Special Olympics our school hosts. I help with concessions for other sports. I've also volunteered for like youth football camps, also at local churches, helping with things like yard work. And I was also selected to be in Science National Honor Society and French National Honor Society. So
Wow.
I think just being able to keep up with my academics really helped open up those opportunities.
Congratulations, by the way. Those are some really big accomplishments and great opportunities to be invited to. Um yeah, definitely some really great opportunities to be a part of, especially in high school that you can have no problem finding your way in college because there's something for everybody. And once you start joining the organizations that appeal to you, then you start meeting people and just start getting acclimated with the school a lot more. So you'll have no problem adjusting to that.
Yeah.
With academics, how were you able to keep, because you have a 3.9 GPA, if I'm not mistaken. That's really amazing, really high. So, how were you able to keep up with your academics and stay focused on that while being a student athlete and being a part of all those organizations? But being a multiple student athlete and being a part of those organizations.
Yeah, so actually, last year I was able to bump my GPA up to a 4.0,
Wow.
so I was really happy for that. And honestly, it was just the time management, finding time to do my homework outside of practice. My brain's kind of structured like that anyways, with schedules and just kind of logical. So having a schedule, being able to go to school, practice, and then come home and do homework. I think having that structure in my life is something I really don't shy away from, and I kind of look forward to having. So it was a little bit easier for me to kind of manage it once I had everything planned out.
Yeah, that's going to be really great to translate into college because you will have a lot more free time to get certain assignments done. And it might not be until like the next month, but because you're already on top of it, especially while doing sports and other organizations, you're already going to be like on top of everything. Like you're already going to be like turning stuff in, knowing that okay, I have to go ahead and push this in ahead of time. I can't wait to the last minute. So that's going to really translate really well when you go to college. So that's really great.
Yes, I am definitely looking forward to having a little bit of that extra free time for some work.
Oh yeah, for sure. So my last question for you, actually, before we get to our last question, we talked a little bit about your inspiration last time. You said it was Sarah Fuller who played for Vanderbilt University. Is she still your inspiration? And did you ever get a chance to meet at all, or do you have anyone else you look up to?
She's definitely still an inspiration just because she kind of made it aware to people that there really is an opportunity for women to be able to play football since in college and high school there aren't women's teams. So it's kind of finding my own way to fit in since there is no other opportunity for me to play. I also look up to my parents though because their work ethic is amazing. Because of how hard they worked, they've been very successful in life, and I'm really hoping that my work ethic will mimic theirs, so I'm able to be just as successful.
Yeah, I believe it's definitely already been instilled in you the way and the drive that you have for the sports you play and then keeping up with everything outside of sports and academics in general. I think that their traits are definitely getting instilled in you and you're able to just produce that really well. So I know they're very proud of you as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now our last question is if there was any advice that you can give somebody who has been through or is going through what you're going through, what would it be?
Definitely never give up. You're gonna be your number one biggest supporter no matter what, because in the end, it's going to be yourself that has to motivate you to move forward. Having the support behind you is nice always, so make sure you surround yourself with the right people. And because I think ultimately being surrounded by the right people and making sure you have the motivation and not taking anything from anyone else, making sure that no one's bringing you down, that's ultimately what's going to help you reach your goals.
I love that. That's really great advice. Definitely surrounding yourself with the right people who will lift you up and not tear you down. Well, where can people find you on social media?
They can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. All of them, I believe, have the same username, which is just at Caitlyn Soroka.
Nice.
And yeah, so if they want to follow me, probably where I'll be posting the most updates about sports is going to be on Twitter or X and Instagram.